Hey guys, this is Joe from Startuprad.io. Are you self-employed or running a small business? With Tide's free business account, you can manage invoices, track expenses, and prep for taxes, all in one place. Plus, get 200 or 400 euros cash back, depending on your business type, when you sign up and spend. Use promo code Startupradio at tide.co/podcasts.de. Terms apply.
Welcome to Startuprad.io, your podcast and YouTube blog covering the German startup scene with news, interviews, and live events.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io, the authority on German, Swiss, and Austrian startups. And today we are bringing you something very special, our update of the 2025 Unicorn Tracker for the DACH region. We ran a regular Unicorn Tracker in parallel to our startup news during Corona, since there were so many newly coined unicorns. So for all of you, we bring the format back here on God Friday. If you celebrated, happy Easter. And we have a plan to get together to do a new Unicorn Tracker towards the end of the year. Chris, how would a new Unicorn Tracker for Thanksgiving sound to you?
Oh, yes, let's do it. I mean, so much is changing. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Think of this episode as a kind of status update. Keep in mind that no one is required to report either reaching or losing unicorn status. So there's always some guesswork involved, as we always rely on other sources here and correlate them. On most unicorns list, there's an agreement, but not all. We will also follow this episode with extensive blog posts where you can learn more about the unicorns we mention here. We've done the legwork to gather unicorns, former unicorns, and some overlooked champions in German-speaking startup scene. With Easter around the corner, what better time to bring you a shiny new unicorn? And as we're already speaking of Chris, hey, welcome, my man. Today not in New York, right?
I snuck into it already. No, I'm talking to you today from Düsseldorf in Western Germany, where I am actually on my little Easter break and traveling through the country. Yeah, and looking ahead today, we got a great episode. We are talking fresh unicorns, cautionary tales, a few stealth giants that rarely make headlines, but are a bit in the background and nevertheless are hugely successful. And we are giving you, our aim is to give you like a complete state of play for the DACH startup ecosystem. As always, we explain it. DACH is Deutschland, Österreich, Schweiz, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Austria, Switzerland. With most of these, we cannot give you more than just a few sentences due to the number of companies and the sheer amount of data each company generates. In 2024, there was only eGym coined as a new unicorn. That makes us hope that for 2025, probably we have more to talk about, and we probably already have the first new unicorn with Quantum Systems. We are covering 48 unicorns in total, so let's go. Yes, we are calling out those who lost unicorn status too. It's no judgment, just facts. Let's dive in. Back to you.
Oh, and I have a reply from Martha from Ohio. She reached out to us and asked why DACH, why the CH at the end. It's the Swiss call themselves something like Confederation Helvetica, Helvetica being their own name for Switzerland here. That's why it's DACH.
And I think in German we just say it because DACH rolls more easily off the tongue than DCHA.
Yeah, and Dach also means roof in German, so that's about it. So let's kick things off with the news edition to the list, the one that actually tracked this Unicorn Tracker or started it. Quantum Systems from Gilching, Germany. I do believe that's pretty close to Munich. AI drones. The Munich-based drone tech innovator hit unicorn status in 2025. After securing 100 million in Series B funding from Notion Capital and Porsche. The recent acquisition of AirRobot and expansion to Ukraine solidifies their lead, dual-use defense and commercial AI drones. Talking a little bit about logistics and freight tech unicorns here. We kick off with logistics tech, one of DACH region's quite powerhouses. First up is Forto in Berlin. By the way, also an interview we did by the founder and CEO that is now part of the supervisory board. They've modernized global freight forwarding with real-time digital platform, simplifying cross-border trade. But 2025 brought major changes. Layoffs hit a third of their team, and founder Michael Vax moved to chairman. The new CEO, it's a French name?
Guillaume Petit-Perrin. Guillaume Petit-Perrin.
Okay, as he said, is steering the ship towards profitability while exploring possible sales.
Yes, right. And then there's Ascender with a 2N, also Berlin-based, shaking up full truckload freight across Europe. They have acquired C.H. Robinson's European arm, and now Ascender doubled its revenue to 1.4 billion euros. They've upgraded leadership, expanded their tech stack with the ZenOS platform, and are now competing in 20 plus countries. And it's a logistics unicorn scaling like a rocket, one could say. So by now you can probably tell we are giving you an overview of the German unicorns by industry. So moving on from logistics and freight tech to mobility and micromobility.
Yes, from freight to people, let's talk mobility. Flix, by the way, also an interview we did, link in the show notes. In Munich is a standout. Not only are they behind Flixbus and Flixtrain, but they also own Greyhound in the US. Their 2024 revenues hit 2 billion euros with EQT and Kühne Holding backing them. They're expanding globally, including new routes in India and pioneering sustainable mobility with solar-powered and hydrogen-powered buses.
Also in micromobility, not also because Flix is buses, but in micromobility, we see Tier from Berlin, once a micromobility unicorn in and of itself with a 2 billion euro valuation. In 2024, they merged with Dot and are now Europe's largest shared e-scooter operator. I guess many people have seen them if they live in a bigger city. They faced heavy layoffs and a declining valuation because there really was a boom for these companies, and now it's only a few companies left in the market, but their rights now surpass 100 million annually.
And I would say Tier counts as a former unicorn in most lists. Also here, what I talk about, Volocopter in Bruchsal, once a flying taxi unicorn. They went bankrupt before the Olympic debut. China's Wangfang Group bought them in March 2025 for just 10 million euros, making a dramatic end to Germany's first eVTOL unicorn. Going into deep tech and iHardware, another deep tech star is Agile Robots, also in Munich. They made waves as Germany's first robotic unicorn with SoftBank backing. In 2023, they acquired Franka, Emica, and BMW's automation unit, Ideal Works. They're pushing forward with award-winning robot arms like Diana 3, tackling automation in health, industry, and logistics.
And just like Agile Robots and BMW, we also have Helsing in Munich, taking AI to the battlefield there. They raised 450 million euros in 2024 and are now at a 5 billion euro valuation. So largely significant, developing defense AI for fighter jets and drones. Helsing is one of the key players in the Eurofighter upgrade FACAS program. Their Baltic expansion shows how serious they are about European security tech, and I guess the whole discussion about the future of NATO, Europe investing more in its own defense systems in order to be less dependent on the US will probably mean good business for them as well. Related to what we're talking now, or at least we already dropped BMW, we are now looking at auto companies and some overlooked giants there. There is Check24 in Munich, which is little bit of everything because it's also a website that offers car rentals. It's a competitor to Booking.com. But despite flying under the radar, it's a price comparison platform that in Germany really is a consumer tech behemoth. profitable, bootstrap, still a unicorn in 2024 with really aggressive marketing. In Germany, they gave away free football jerseys from the German team, and they really got a lot of buzz from that, but also some backlash. But Check24, definitely one of the German unicorns to watch.
Also, Autodoc in Berlin, Europe's leading auto parts e-commerce firm. In 2024, they reported 1.3 billion, yes, with a B, euros in revenue, a 10% profit margin, and a 2.3 billion valuation after Apollo Global invested. They are preparing for 2025 IPO and pushing hard into the B2B space with Autodoc Pro. Going a little bit into biotech and life science here, there is only one, for the very simple reason that all lists in Switzerland include this one startup. Otherwise, we shipped around noting all the unicorns that are from the biotech space. It's much complicated, but if you'd like to get an overview done here, we are also happy to do it. One prominent player there, as I said, is ADC Therapeutics from Lausanne, Switzerland. They specialize in antibody drug conjugates for cancer after $105 million raised there in 2024. Their drug
Zynlonta,
something like this, turned profitable, but their valuation dropped below unicorn level, and their market cap now sits at around 150 million. Chris?
So ADC is a really good example of volatility in the biotech sector. I mean, if they have been a unicorn and now sitting around $150 million, you can really see that. In our next section, we'll cover climate tech unicorns and why 2025 could be their breakout year. Stay tuned for that, but let's take a little breath.
And say thank you to our sponsor for a little ad break. Quick break. Brought to you by Tide. If you're self-employed or running a small business, you know how messy finances can get. That's where Tide comes in. Their free business account helps you to stay on top of it all. Invoicing, expenses, and even smart tax tools streamlined in one place. And here's the best part. Get 200 euros cash back when you spend 500 euros as a sole trader, or 400 euros cash back after spending 1,000 euros as a registered business. Just sign up at tide.co/podcast-ce and enter the promo code Startuprad.io at checkout.
Welcome back from the ad break. We are moving on to climate tech and renewable energy, as I said. For example, we also mentioned them a couple of times in the podcast, in the regular podcast already. We have 1,5 Grad, 1.5 degrees, if you translate it. They are based in Hamburg. Definitely another startup to watch. They've raised over 450 million euros and acquired solar companies across Europe and Australia. They have an energy platform called Heartbeat AI, which helps households to buy cheap electricity and then sell it higher. So it's definitely a company in that industry, in the climate tech industry, that is thinking about how to kind of harvest the potential of the field.
Yes, Enpal in Berlin, or Enpal, something like this. And I would pronounce them Enpal in Berlin, is the largest residential solar platform in Germany with over 5 billion, yes, again with a B, euros in financing raised. They now offer a full energy suite, batteries, heat pumps, EV charging, and AI-powered Heartbeat platform to manage it all. In Switzerland, Climeworks leads in carbon capture. The mammoth DAC plant in Iceland is live, capable of removing 36,000 tons of CO2 annually. Partnerships with companies like Morgan Stanley and accolades from fast companies cement their global leadership. Chris, you want to start with fintech and insurtech unicorns?
Yes. There is N26. I was even a former customer of them, a company that has gone through several iterations by now, but still being a Berlin heavyweight. They overcame regulatory headwinds, bounced back, attracted 250,000 new customers per month, as they say, and are now posting 440 million euros in revenue. That's from last year. They've exited the US and Brazil market to focus on Europe and plan to double their marketing spend in 2025. So definitely still a company that has not seen its last days, even though it might have felt like that probably even in our podcast.
I see. Trade Republic actually, before the last fundraise of N26 for some weeks or 2 months, something like this, Germany's most valuable fintech. The Berlin-based neobroker now serves over 8 million customers and manages more than 100 billion euros in assets. In 2024, they secured a full banking license, but outages in early 2025 raised concerns about their platform's reliability.
And just as dynamic as the fintech sector in Germany is also insurtech, there we see that Clark from Frankfurt is growing steadily. They hit 135 million euro in revenue in 23 and transitioned founder Christopher Oster to chairman now. They've also appeared twice on Startuprad.io, diving deeply into their strategy and into their digital insurance vision. So Clark definitely one to watch too.
I vividly remember the first interview before they became a unicorn. I was talking with Christopher, and at the time we've been an audio-only podcast, so I'm not really sure about his face, but he was on a list of Bloomberg's 20 most promising startups you never heard of. I asked him if this was an award for him, most promising startups, or a challenge for his marketing never heard of. I think by now you know my style. Do not forget Scalable Capital, headquartered in Munich with 17 billion under management and a customer base of over 600,000. They are a major player in wealth tech, but outages and EU regulatory risks about their payment for order flow model have raised eyebrows about long-term viability. The payment for order flow is actually also a problem of Trade Republic, I have to mention.
Mm-hmm. We also see Raisin, a company that aims to redefine savings across Europe. They have an impressive 57 billion euros in assets under their management, are profitable and expanding into new countries. Also, they appeared on Startuprad.io to share their journey. Definitely a fintech to watch closely as well.
Another important one is Mambu in Berlin, a core banking SaaS platform supporting over 114 million users. In 2024, they acquired French payment tech Nureal. Chris, you're better in French. You actually learned that stuff. I did never.
Numeral,
as he said, expand their product suite and won Google Cloud's Financial Services Partner of the Year award.
And rounding out this little fintech crew here is Bitpanda, probably the most talked about startup that we have. From Austria, they are an Austrian crypto unicorn, and they are launching non-custodial DeFi wallet. They're expanding into Dubai. They're pushing their B2B white label offerings, so named Bitpanda Technology Solutions. So definitely last but not least in this little section.
Also, I have an add-on for this list because nobody likes taxes, but TaxFix became a unicorn with innovating in tax filings across Europe. After acquiring Tax Scouts in the UK, they're growing despite a workforce reduction in 2023. Their commitment is simplifying taxes for everyday users, keep them on the map. Exactly. And now we go into SaaS and enterprise and HR tech. That is definitely the place to talk about Celonis, Germany's only decacorn, meaning a valuation of above 10 billion. In their case, 13.2 was the number we found. Based in Munich, Celonis is a global leader in process mining and execution management. They are partnering with IBM and ServiceNow, and in 24 delayed their IPO to focus on embedding AI deeper into their platform. Pretty impressive and gutsy management decision there.
Another Munich-based standout is Personio, an HR tech platform tailored for small and medium-sized enterprises. They are optimizing internal operations right now after layoffs in 24, but they remain a European category leader, still with a strong growth and deep integrations in HR workflows. So Personio, still one to watch.
Let's not skip Contentful in Berlin. They are power digital experience for giants like IKEA and Shopify. Even after 15% layoff, they launched a new AI feature and kept their valuation near 3 billion. Their CMS platform remains a backbone for modern digital infrastructure.
And in internal communications, we see that Staffbase from Chemnitz made waves as the first unicorn from the eastern part of the country, sometimes still referred to in the country as the new states. They've expanded rapidly with the support of JP Morgan and KfW, their Kreditanstalt für Wiederaufbau, launched a next generation email platform and landed in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. Moving on to AI and language tech. DeepL, based in Cologne, is a powerhouse in translation tech. In 24, they raised $300 million and launched Clarify, real-time editing tool for nuanced translations. They now serve 100,000 customers, including global enterprises like Coursera and Deutsche Bahn.
AI has been central to their growth and to our show as well. Startuprad.io has been tracking DeepL since early days, and now they are on Forbes AI 50 and Cloud 100 list. Not bad for a Cologne startup. Chris, you want to talk a little bit about travel and marketplaces?
Always travel. I want to talk about travel. On travel, Get Your Guide, a Berlin-based company, raised nearly 200 million euros in 23 and now lists over 110,000 global experiences. Strategic partners like Checkout.com and Prima are helping them boost conversion and scale globally. But I also have to say, I had a Get Your Guide experience in Rome where I wanted to go see the Caravaggio exhibit, and I bought my ticket through Get Your Guide, and when I arrived at Palazzo Barberini, it turned out that the ticket I bought did not include the special exhibit, and it was not mentioned on the website properly. So I will let them know. I will write Get Your Guide and see what comes out of it.
Mm-hmm. You should do. Also, we have Omio, actually a startup that I interviewed many, many years ago when they were really early stage. Their founder, under their old name, Go Euro. They are still from Berlin and they have secured by now more than 120 million credit facilities. They're expanding into Southeast Asia and offering flexible multi-model travel tools across Europe.
In travel and marketplaces, very interesting niche that Chrono24 sits in. They are from Karlsruhe and are a leading marketplace for luxury watches. With $235 million in funding and new leadership, they're now adapting to shifts in demand and they are doubling down on digital innovation. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes in that small market in luxury e-commerce.
Yes, great rundown so far, Chris. Coming up next, we'll take a closer look at food, consumer, robotics, and education unicorns, plus those we've lost along the way.
So stick around. You're listening to Startuprad.io. Don't forget to rate us and check out our links in the show notes. Time for some ads.
Thanks for sticking around. Welcome back to Consumer Tech, Robotics, and Food Innovation. Let's start with Berlin Brands Group. With 800 million in funding, they've acquired dozens of D2C brands and expanded globally. Despite layoffs and rising competition, they're pushing hard in compliance and portfolio optimization, maintaining their unicorn crown.
And speaking of optimization, Schoko, also based in Berlin, is digitalizing the food supply chain. They have an app that reduces food waste and streamlines restaurant supplier communication. They acquired the Spanish startup Catu and became Spain's top food service ordering platform as well. So a company that seems to do a lot of things right. Schoko, also based in Berlin. And also, we already mentioned it, eGym from Munich. In 2024, they raised $200 million to grow their WellPass corporate wellness network and launched eGym Genius, an AI workout coach, after acquiring Fit Reserve, and Hustle. They are scaling fast in Europe and the US. Moving on to EdTech, education tech, smart data, and deep logistics.
Yes, GoStudent in Vienna is transforming education with hybrid online-offline tutoring and VR-based language learning. Their AI tutor, Amelia, is already helping thousands of students personalize their learning experience.
Oh, interesting. Over in Zurich, Scandit is a global leader in smart data capture. They have clients like Carrefour and the NHS in the UK. Their SDKs now offer AI-powered scanning tech, smart labels, and advanced logistics solutions.
Let's talk about Commerce Tools, the Munich-based e-commerce software provider. They are a leader in API-first, headless commerce, and process 30 billion in GMV last year. Despite recent layoffs and leadership turnover, they continue to win enterprise clients and Google Cloud Awards.
And that was it for our little section of software as a service, fintech, and marketplace unicorns. But now, we mentioned it a couple of times already, we are moving on to what I don't know if we can call it a graveyard, because maybe some of those might experience a resurrection. So let's talk about former unicorns and the question, where are they now? You got the first one.
Okay, for now, for the part nobody likes, but it's important. Let's talk about former unicorns. First, we have WeFox, once valued at 4.5 billion, dropped below unicorn level amid deep losses in Italy and Germany. Leadership changed twice, and they're now fighting for survival. And actually, we have to say we talked about this a lot because the fight in and for WeFox was quite public.
Grover, known for tech rentals, lost its unicorn status after a down round, and they burned through over 1 billion euros in funding. They've now pivoted to some kind of stabilization mode with a new CFO on board to right the ship. We will see how that goes.
Inform, once the vertical farming darling, exited several markets and entered administration by late 2023. The co-founder now runs a much smaller Canadian spin-off. Their pivotal to kosher greens in North America is a far cry from their global farming dreams. And actually, I couldn't even find their website anymore. So they're completely stamped out, but still on some lists here.
More like infamous than infam, am I right? So there's also, oh God, I'm so sorry. I know it's people and dreams and etc. I'm sorry for the joke. But I'm sorry for the joke. Oh God, and that's even a segue because there's also Joker without the E, a Berlin-born quick commerce startup. We've talked about that industry quite often here in terms of fast grocery shopping. Once $1 billion player, Joker now exited Europe and the US, only operating as Ducky in Brazil. Their valuation dropped below $1 billion after a tough down round.
Actually, I was tempted to also include Gorillas there, but then I realized they already lost their $1 billion valuation during the takeover from Getir more than 3 years ago. So I thought, just skip this here. Not skipping, we will. Oh, that was Yoda saying. Talk about Solaris, a major banking as a service player. So its valuation dropped from 1.6 billion to 90 million after heavy losses and staff cuts. Japanese SBI Group took over the majority ownership in 2024, a sobering example of scaling too fast in fintech.
And rounding out, here are the ones we mentioned before because they're still on some lists we have found. Just a very quick run through. Tier, the former micromobility unicorn, merged with Dot and saw its value drop to 150 million euros. Volocopter, the air taxi pioneer, sold to China's Wanfeng Group after insolvency. And Numbers, without the E, once a Swiss fintech unicorn, quietly faded into B2B niche obscurity.
And there you have it. Or our full unicorn tracker, all 48 known unicorns in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, plus the fallen stars who shaped the ecosystem. Whether you're a DACH founder or just a tech nerd, this was your full download on the DACH startup scene stands right now.
Yeah, so we'll continue updating this every 3 months. So hit follow, check out the show notes for all source links, investor info. We hope you enjoyed this special episode and this special overview of the market, a bit of a shift from our regular programming. You can also find more investor info and our own interviews with many of these founders on our website. For now, though, we say thanks for listening to Startuprad.io, your inside track to the DACH startup ecosystem.
Until next time, auf Wiedersehen and keep scaling.
Yes, please do. Bye.
Bye.
That's all, folks. Find more news, streams, events, and interviews at www.startuprad.io. Remember, sharing is caring.
Ready to level up your business finances? Open a free business account with Tide and get up to 400 euros cash back after qualifying spend. Go to tide.co/podcasts.de and sign up using promo code Startup Radio. Don't wait. Start saving time and money today.